Thanksgiving is Eli Roth's latest film, and it's based on the fake trailer from over 10 years ago. And if you remember, way back in 2007, Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino released a 3-hour double feature, which consisted of two 90-minute films, and they both were preceded by a series of short, fictional trailers for horror movies. A couple of them were actually made. Hobo with a Shotgun was a really bizarre Canadian film, and now Thanksgiving is out and getting the horror movie treatment, and it's directed by Eli Roth, who has made some campy, fun movies like Knock Knock, The Green Inferno, even a kids movie, The House with the Clock in Its Walls. He's very consistent with the horror genre, and it's clear this is his passion project, and it's honestly the most original of all his films. It's not a remake, it's not based on Cannibal Holocaust, which his other film was, and this is just a really fun movie, and I really did enjoy it. It's very over the top, it's delightful with a similar exciting rush to it like Scream. Definitely very violent, and I think just because a film is violent doesn't mean it's scary. And I don't think this film needed to be that terrifying. Let's be clear, this is a fun slasher. That's good. A slasher is more of a film to watch with your friends. You can all get excited when someone's about to be killed, and I guess there's something kind of morbid about that, but it's part of watching a movie like this where you're seeing something so bizarre framed in such an over-the-top way that it could just be enjoyable. And Thanksgiving is definitely a good movie to watch with friends. It's just a fun horror movie. And I think that some horror movies might be depressing or down-putting, but this is not that type of movie. Eli Roth knows how to make a movie that captures your attention. It's totally ridiculous, but also grounded with relatable characters and the stock cliche characters such as the bully, the cop, and the cheerleader, which are important for filling up the world in this movie. And overall, they do a good job, and it left a better taste in my mouth than other movies like Megan, Five Nights at Freddy's, and The Nun 2. Those are all hits from 2023, but I like Thanksgiving more than any of them. Thanksgiving is also more funny, and it's not even, scary. I would say none of those movies I just listed were really scary, but this movie is just fun. It knows when to be bizarre. It doesn't feel like it's just following an algorithm or formula, and even when it does, it makes so many bizarre tweaks. It's just a delight to watch. Like there's a scene where the killer's hunting a girl through a wig shop, and I just loved it. It's something you don't really see, and Thanksgiving does that. It gives you a lot of stuff you're not really used to, a lot of very creative kills. The film follows a group of kids who get early access to a supermarket on Black Friday, and there's Jessica, who's played by Nelvar Locke, whose dad, played by Rick Hoffman, owns the store, and they get early access, and this spurs a rage, and people storm the store. It's a Black Friday massacre, and right from the beginning, it's absurd kills. There's neck slices and people getting scalped by supermarket shopping carts, and there's all sorts of creative kills, and they're very over the top, but there's still a disturbing quality to them, and I think this opening really lets you know what you're in for, a very silly, bizarre, but over the top movie. And the film cuts to a year later where the town is still reeling from the disaster, only things get worse as a mysterious killer known as John Carver has started murdering people who are at the Black Friday shopping massacre. He sets a table for the kids who are at the store and got early access, and he starts slowly picking them off, and it's just such a fun movie to watch. And I think this is where the film is a double-edged sword because it is shot really well, and I think a lot of the effort that goes into making the kills original deaths that we haven't seen before is really something to be commended. Part of the entertainment is seeing something so crazy you wouldn't see in real life. There's almost a urge of pitch black comedy to many of these deaths. I don't really want to spoil them, but it is impressive how Eli Roth has come up with all these deaths and made them kind of unique in their own way. It really keeps you interested, wondering what creative methods the killer will take up next to his victims. And I think there is a bit of a continuity issue that, for me at least, was the only problem, and that is certain characters who get a lot of screen time early on, only, nothing really happens to them later. And it feels like in the third act, a couple characters just get left out. I understand that they're setting up these characters and we might want to think they're the killer, but I do think Eli Roth could have given us, just a few more kills of characters who were in it early on. It just feels like in the third act, certain characters who had prominent screen time early on are kind of forgotten about so we can have other cool kill scenes. I just feel like there's an issue with the continuity. Maybe he's setting up a sequel. Honestly, it's fine. It's just a bit of a minor issue. That would be my, one of my only issues. The other one, though, was there isn't a traditional unmasking for our main villain. It's a really small issue, but I did think they could have had a cool scene where we find out who he is. It is a bit subtle, though. And, it really is just fun. It's complete with cheesy one-liners at the end, such as there will be no leftovers. And it has, future cult imagery, such as a giant inflatable turkey being blown up during the climactic fight with the killer. And there's a really strong original feel to it. While it's clear the film gets its influences from Scream and its opening from Halloween and Black Christmas, and the end is a clear tribute to Friday the 13th, this film is in its own lane, and I'd definitely like to see a sequel. I think what makes it good is it's fun, it isn't too scary. It isn't that it's overly funny, it's just fun, and a lot of the best scenes are the original kill scenes. I loved all the ones. Like I mentioned, the wig shop, I loved the parade scene, I loved the stuff with the corn, that's all I'll say, and the trampoline. Roth managed to make a fun, entertaining horror movie that feels original, it isn't too slow-paced, and I think that's a real feat. It has a bit of a pacing issue at the end and a little bit of a character development issue, but I don't think that takes away from the film. And I would definitely watch the sequel to this movie. Let me know what you guys think of Thanksgiving. I really enjoyed it.